SNS Productions
presents
when good podcasts go back.
Go Back.
I pulled a card, so I was like, kind of see what it would say until you got in the card.
The card.
Video.
In the car.
Is it relevant?
I mean,
Yeah.
it says it was Gabriel
Don't
from
leave
my
me hanging.
Supernatural one. Don't leave me hanging.
Okay, I get it.
It says they call him Gabriel with an insatiable sweet tooth and a habit of faking his own death. The Archangel was never short of pranks, including Dean's death loop and both Sam's uncomfortable commercial cameo and his transformation into a car. But he revealed his hand when he became heated about his brothers, Michael and Lucifer. Gabriel loved his family, but he couldn't stand the fighting, which is what led him to impersonate a demigod. Tired of hiding, he courageously aided the Winchesters and stood up to his brothers. Like Gabriel, you're not required or agreed with the people to whom you're closest. Don't allow someone to silence you based on the role they think you should play. If your Sunday dinners are like the apocalypse, it's okay to speak up and air your grievances. Let Gabriel be your guide, paving the way for honest and open communication so you can live the life you choose with integrity. If this seems daunting, try journaling at first. Getting your thoughts down on paper will help you express your feelings with greater clarity.
Sounds exactly like what we were talking about yesterday.
I know, and I swear I didn't. I swear I just drew it. Isn't that weird how that happens?
Well,
There was something in your video I watched this morning too that I thought about. I don't remember what it was now, but like I remember you said it and I was like, dang, we were talking about that and I hadn't even watched the video
I just
yet.
said it in the video. I don't know. Oh, no. This is a sign. We should talk about that still. Or...
Yeah. The boundaries or just like speaking up.
Yeah.
So I think that like I'm just going to go in with this card. The reason that this is relevant for us, obviously, you know, but like for anybody that watches, we basically had a conversation on the phone last night about how we just are trying to place boundaries in our lives. And Shawnee's talking about like how hard it is for her. And I'm just trying to, like, it's hard for me too, but I'm trying, like, through therapy to get to a point where I'm able to stand up and say, like, that's not what I want to do. And after the fact, not feel horrible guilt, which is what you said, you know, you've been dealing with. And I don't know if you want to, like, put anything in with that, kind of from your side of things.
I guess, like, I mean, I don't mind doing that, but I guess, like, while you were talking, I kind of had, like, a thought of, like,
Okay.
that it'd be cool to, like, hear maybe your experience of, like, why you feel like, I guess, like, you before boundaries versus, like, now, like, starting to implement boundaries, and then, like, if it kind of flows into mine, I'll share too, but that's just what I was wondering.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So before I started to place boundaries in my life, it's been hard because like before doing that, anytime somebody asked something of me, I just get like this heavy weight of like misery because I don't like if I didn't really want to do it, it's like just this heavy weight of misery and aggravation and frustration. Just where I'm like, God, I don't want to, but I felt like I had to because I have like a huge issue with people pleasing and wanting to do whatever the other person needs or wants because I want them to be happy. And it's almost like I gain my happiness through people around me. And if one person's energy is off, that throws my energy off and I feel responsible for trying to make them happy and do whatever I can to control the situation so that it's not uncomfortable for me or them. And that leads into boundaries, because a lot of times I would go into saying yes to something I didn't really want to do, and then it leads me into a darker place. So I'm not showing up doing the thing that I agreed to do in a good way, because my mood's already affected by the fact that I didn't want to do it to begin with. So it's like I'm sacrificing myself. And that's just been the pattern my whole life, has just been like, I can't say no. I can't say no. If I did, I'd feel terribly guilty. And, what are they going to think of me? What are they feeling about me because I didn't do what they wanted? And it's just that constant record playing over and over in my head. And I just couldn't get past it. But I guess, like, for me, working through all that in therapy, I think what's helped me get past that and start actually setting the boundaries and not struggling as much with feeling the guilt and, not just people pleasing all the time instead of pleasing myself and doing what I really want. The way that that's helped me is, I think I just needed somebody from a professional standpoint, unbiased, with, that background, to tell me, hey, you're good to do what you want. Like, they don't have a biased opinion of me as a person either way. So I can sit down and tell them where my side of things are. And I definitely try to be responsible for my mess ups. If I mess up in a scenario, I tell them and I feel bad about it. But, like, just having that person tell me, that's unbiased, it's not like a family member, it's not a friend, because they always have their personal experience based on who you are to them and their experiences with you, that they're either going to agree with you or they're either going to tell you you're wrong, and you're just going to feel worse because you don't know what to think. You're still valuing their experience over yours and listening. So it's like, before setting boundaries in place, that was kind of the person that I was, and how much I struggled with it was just put me to where I don't want to go out. I don't want to have friends. I don't want to have a social existence with people, because it was just always a weight of, like, what are they going to need from me now? And that's a lot, because I wasn't saying no. And that's on me. It's not their fault, but it just made me kind of, what's the word? Like, separate myself from everything and everyone. So I just end up hiding out because it's easier. But what kind of life are you living? But now, like, like we talked about yesterday in the call, it's just like, after me realizing I don't always have to do what the other person wants, and I don't have to just give in, and having that therapy background to give me the confidence I need and reassurance I needed to say no. I'm not being ugly when I say no, but I'm just, stand firm and say, well, hey, it's not a good time, or I can't make it, whatever. Like, I'm stern and I tell them like it is, to a certain degree, with respect. And it's honestly helped me show up better for myself and my family, because for Christmas holiday, I was able to handle and manage a lot more stress than I normally would without having any blow-ups, because anxiety and overstimulation has also been an issue for me in my life. And it's like, the littlest thing can just, blow the steam out. It's like, I can't do this. So that's been a lot of stuff I just hold in to try and keep my composure, and just, not taking care of me first. It ends up building and building and building like a volcano, and then it blows up. And half the time, the people that see that are the people I love the most. It's my family, it's my kid, it's my partner, it's the people who, don't deserve it. And it's not even them half the time, it's all the others that I put first, and then I can't handle anymore when they need me. But I actually, putting those boundaries in place has helped me to not explode. I didn't explode at all on Christmas. I was able to socialize Christmas Eve night. I mean, I was tired, but I did it. It didn't go bad. Um, overall, it has a better view too for yourself when you look back and you think, man, I felt a lot better than I usually do. And all it took was just saying, well, no, I can't do that right now. I'm not in a place to, I'm preparing for all the busy times this year coming up. So that's me now versus me then.
So I guess I kind of want to like, I mean, not to like keep backtracking, but I guess like
No, it's
something
fine.
I was thinking is like if you could share like examples or like how like your understanding of how somebody might kind of end up in that pattern of always feeling like other people's needs are like more important than their own and like getting to the point where like you're always like, well, I gotta do what they want me to do, like I gotta do it, like so to the point where you're just like exploding like later in
So,
life.
sorry, my thing went out a minute and I couldn't hear everything you said.
What was
So
the
it was
last
like when you said what kind of puts you in that place of that pattern, and then
Okay, so I was just saying like what if you could give examples or like your perspective on like what kind of leads somebody into that pattern of like putting others' needs, like what makes it to where like they fall into that thought of like, okay, I can't do what I want to do because I gotta please like them or like you know what I'm trying to ask?
yeah. So I think for me personally, with our childhood, I kind of always felt like, I mean, obviously I'm the middle child, so I have middle child syndrome. But for personal experiences in our childhood, with mama, with what she was going through at the time, I always took on her burdens and thought it was my fault that, mama doesn't love me. She's in her room upset. You know, she always had things going on. They weren't about me, but I made them about me because I was a child and I didn't understand what was wrong. So I thought, well, something's wrong with me. She doesn't love me. So I was always trying to please her in my own ways. They may not look like I did that from other perspectives, but in my own way, I feel like I tried. And I think I always compared myself to you and our brother, and just like I felt like, to daddy growing up, you were his little girl when you were little, and mama, that was her baby boy for her brother. And it's like, I kind of felt left out in the cold. And I think that made me strive a lot for being good enough and feeling like I wasn't good enough. Like, why don't they want me? What did I do wrong? A lot of times getting yelled at for just being a kid and not knowing any better. I think all of those things led to me wanting to be better than what I thought I was because of me pretty much labeling myself the way that I was seeing myself through their eyes. And then as I got older, I think that I definitely tried to be a savior in my own ways for you and or for us as siblings. Like with all the turmoil and stuff that happened, I always wanted to protect y'all in my own ways too. And so that's the people pleasing part, where I just wanted mama and daddy to be happy, so I tried to keep the peace with them. There are times I felt defensive a lot, felt like I had to defend myself, so that's a whole nother part of my trauma
Yeah.
issues. But I mean, that's another day, another story. But I just wanting them to love me, wanting a relationship that was good with them, wanting to help make y'all happy and protect y'all. Felt like, older brother liked little sister better. We always had issues. Just, I was an annoying little kid, the younger one that annoys you. But, I know I did my fair share of tattling and whatever else as a little, shit. But I think it's just mainly seeing myself from the perspective that they did, I felt, and that they just didn't like me, so something was wrong with me. So, like, I didn't feel like I was worthy enough to set boundaries. I didn't feel like I deserved boundaries. I felt like I just gotta do what they want so that everybody's happy, because I still have trouble now with being able to feel happy in a group scenario if everyone isn't happy. It's like a control issue. I'm like, I've got to control everybody's mood so that I'm okay too.
Yeah,
So
sort of
I
like
think,
gotta be like the fixer or whatever. Like you see, there's
yeah,
something obviously off, so you just take
yeah,
it upon yourself to like fix it. Like I don't
exactly. It's like I have like that radar where,
know.
when we were growing up, we had to be overly observant, because it's like mama comes out of her room and it's like, is she good today? Is she crying? Is she gonna, like, you had to pick up on little things when daddy come home from work. Are they gonna argue? Is there gonna be something? So it's like you had to overanalyze every scenario and every person in the room. You had to pick up on those energies and sense that stuff. So it's like, if I even sense an inkling of discomfort with somebody, I'm like, what's wrong? Are you okay? Do you need something? Do you need me to help you? What do you need?
Yeah.
So this is like, I can't be happy if you're not happy. But that's something with therapy. My therapist actually talked to me about this issue, and she said that, well, what if you have a party and somebody comes over and they're not upset at you? It's not you, And I'm like, well, I'm going to figure out what's wrong. And they're like, well, then what? And I'm like, if it's, she's like, well, what if they just have a headache and they don't feel good that day? Or what if they having cramps or whatever? And I'm like, then I'm going to get them some ibuprofen and I'm going to get a glass of water and I'm going to let them lay down for an hour, whatever they need. I'm
Yeah.
going to tuck them in. Like, so, and she's like, but you just got to let things go, because you can't control other people's feelings and you can't allow them to control your feelings based off of their feelings, because it's not always your fault. I'm like, yes, it is.
I know that's something that like I've struggled with a lot, that I've noticed like in my relationship, where like I am very like hyper, like I want to like help, like I want to not, I mean I don't, it's not that like I say like fixing, but like it's like I don't think that like there's anything wrong with like having emotions or being upset or anything, but it's like whenever like I can clearly tell like my partner's upset, it's like I want to know, like, is it something like, was it me? Like, and what did I do? Because like if
Yeah.
it was me, it's like I gotta know, because I don't want it to be me. But like not that I'm like perfect and never make mistakes, but it's just
Yeah.
like there's sort of like this internal thing that takes on like the blame, I guess, and makes it my fault even when it might not even have anything to do with it with me. But then even if they say like it's nothing to do with you, it's like I'm still kind of like, kind of searching in my mind, like, what is it really?
What
Like,
could
or,
it be?
like it's gotta be me. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I hate that.
See, that's weird to me. Not in a bad way, but it's just like weird that you feel that way, because from my perspective growing up, it's like you were always a good kid. Like you were like the, not in a bad way, but you were like the golden child where, mom was like, I whooped her one time and she looked at me and I felt brokenhearted and I never did it again. And it's like,
I
I
wonder if
can't see you being that fault,
I
because you've always
wonder
been
if
a
it
great
yeah.
person.
I wonder if it just comes from like that feeling of like I just don't want anybody mad at me, and if I think that they are, it's like because I remember like in high school whenever we had like our little therapy stuff or whatever, like they always called me like the peacekeeper. So it's like
Yeah.
I wasn't really allowed to have an opinion, or at least in my mind, like I couldn't get involved because that would mean that somebody like I was taken aside, or like somebody thought that I didn't love them if I was like, getting involved. So
Yeah.
I wonder if it's
That makes
more
more sense.
like I'm scared of like somebody thinking that like I don't know how to explain it, but maybe it's coming
I
out
get what
somehow.
you're saying. It's more like
Like a
you
fear
feel
of
responsible.
yeah,
Yeah, you feel
because I got to keep the
responsible.
peace.
There's tumultuous stuff going on. You want to make sure it's not going to get out of hand. And that's the thing, too, because I know things would escalate to a ridiculous amount, and then you're just sobbing in a corner not knowing what's going to happen next, and that's a terrifying thing for anyone, let alone a child. So I think that is my inner view of you as a kid. It's going to make me cry.
Oh no.
But my inner view is you in a corner just terrified, and I think that's another reason I feel like being the protector. But like you with the peacekeeping, you were just like, I just want everyone to be okay. So I think that, maybe for you in your scenario with your relationship, it's like you feel obligated, and not obligated in that sense, but like you feel like responsible to make things okay because you were the peacekeeper, and you're like, I've got to fix this so things don't escalate to a crazy point that I can't handle. But I mean, that makes more sense now.
I'm thinking, I don't really know where this is going to go, but I'm thinking of how, like,
Okay.
kind of like what we were talking about yesterday about how, like, whenever you sort of try to take on somebody else's, like, needs and stuff and solve that for them, you're sort of like taking away from yourself and them. So I don't know if you have anything to share on that maybe we could get into, because I feel like that's kind of relevant here, because it's like it's not really our jobs to like butt in. I mean, even if it's from like a loving place, but it's kind of like a way to avoid like our uncomfortable feelings around them being upset. You know what I mean? So it's like we're trying to butt in where we're not needed, but also like comfort ourselves, like our discomfort. Like,
so it's like that control. It's like, because our childhoods were so out of our control, it's like we try so hard now to control every aspect of anything that could happen to make things escalate in a negative way. And I definitely, I'm probably going to repeat some stuff I said yesterday, because I think that it would be possibly helpful, helpful for other people to know that, like, basically what we were saying is that when you don't set the boundaries for your other people, for yourself, that you need, it's like you end up carrying around this burden of exhaustion and anxiety and frustration and anger. It can look like any of those things, and it's just like you're carrying it around. And when when you go to do something with another person that you won't say no to, you end up carrying that with you, and then you just don't enjoy things that you would normally enjoy. Like, if I say yes to so and so, and I say yes to so and so, and then me and you made a plan to hang out, like I'm going to be in the area, and I'm like, hey, we should hang out, or you're like, hey, you should come by. And then I come by and I'm in this just salty mood, and I'm grumpy, and then like I drop a coffee cup and I just explode, and I'm like, oh my God, and you're just like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, it's me. And then you just have this, meltdown, or I have this meltdown, and it's because of me just taking on this and taking on that and taking on this and taking on that. When in reality, if the first thing I, agreed to do, I didn't really want to do it, I should have said, no, I don't think so. And then the next thing I'm like, I still don't feel like I'm ready. So I just say no again. And then you say, hey, you should come by. And I'm like, you know what? I do really want to see Shawnee, because I always want to see you and talk to you, whatever. So I'm like, yes, I'm coming. And there's no doubt about that in my head. Saying no to those others, I show up and I'm like having the best time. We drop the coffee cup and it doesn't break or nothing, even in the other scenario. And I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to drop your cup. And you're like, oh, it's fine. It's just a cup. And then we clean up and we go about our time and we have the best time. Great memory. We sit down and do whatever artsy thing or whatever we want to do. And it's just an overall great memory. There's nothing upsetting about it. And I can go home with that comfort knowing that I enjoyed the hell out of our visit with no issues, because I didn't drag this ball and chain of mess with me. And I feel like that's just how it leads into, you're not taking care of yourself first. And if you don't, like, you can either fill yourself up with what you need, or you can fill yourself up with what you don't need and what you don't want. And if you fill yourself up with what you do need, and then you start to overflow with those good things you can share with people that matter to you the most. And like you enjoy it, and they don't see you have those outbursts like my kid. I hate when I have an anxiety outburst or anything of that sort in front of my kid, and she doesn't deserve to see those things because I know how those things felt as a kid myself. She doesn't understand. She doesn't deserve that. So I try really hard to control those, but a better way of controlling them is not have it happen. And if it's not there, you don't have to suppress it. So I think that filling ourselves up with good is better than filling ourselves up with bad and then it explodes in a bad way, you know? So I don't know if you.
No, I was following up. I was just thinking like, I guess when you were talking about like the outbursts around like your kid and stuff, it's like how I don't. I mean, I don't have a kid, but like I have my cat Sid, and like I was just thinking about how I was recording that latest video, and then like he was banging on the door, and I just like had a little outburst, and I had to look at it on the camera because I was recording it. Like it's not funny. Like I'm laughing because it's
No,
like
I know what you
I'm not
mean.
happy about it, but it's just like what can you do? Like I don't know. Anyway, that's how I deal with stuff. But like
Yeah.
I guess like there I'm trying to formulate where I was going, but like there's like this tendency, I guess, like for me, even though like I know better, to like get angry at like the external thing. Like if somebody's like we were talking about mama or whatever, like if she's asking me for something and I don't really feel like doing it, but I start like getting angry because I feel like that I don't want to face that guilt around it. It's like I guess I'm wondering like how do you get to the point to where like you're not blaming something externally, because like even me with my job like recently it's like it's really easy for me, even though I know I'm like I have more like control over, I'm sorry, like the timer thing, uh 10 minutes.
Should we pause, go into a new video, and then you can
Oh,
continue?
that'd probably be
Okay.
best. Okay. So I guess like to try to clarify what I was meaning before the break. I think it's really easy for people to sort of want to blame like an external thing, like whenever they struggle with, like, I guess if you want to label it people pleasing or like putting other people's needs first, because it can really seem like somebody else is like, you know, taken from you. Like when you get to a certain point where you're just like tapped out pretty much and burn out, like I was saying, like with me and my job, it's like I can get very like resentful, I guess, because I'm just like so burnt out, but it's like I'm not speaking up for myself and like communicating my needs. So it's sort of like I'm not trying to say like I know that we are really good at like self-criticism and stuff and self-hatred, so I'm not trying to encourage that. But I guess
Yeah.
I'm more of like a advocating for your needs kind of thing, like before it gets to the point of like such spite and outbursts, like for example with me and Sid yesterday when I was recording my video or whenever that was, it's like I don't want to be to the point where I'm so drained that I'm like yelling at my cat like
Uh,
and
yeah.
it's like I
See,
hate even admitting that because I feel horrible, but it's like yeah, if something gets to that point it's like clearly something needs to happen. But I don't even
yeah.
remember my question.
Well, I feel like where you were going with this is like saying, you know, with you, and I don't want to, out whatever you haven't said, but basically from what you've talked to me about with, where we talked about your response to all these things, people pleasing, whatever, yada yada you want to say, like it is easy to say, well, mama won't quit bothering me, mama won't quit asking for this, mama won't, so and so won't, so I definitely know that it's easy to point the finger, but it's also like they say, you point and you got three pointing back at you. And that makes a good point, just because at the end of the day, if you don't say, hey, mama, I'm sorry, but from now on, don't ask me to take you to do this, or don't ask me to do that, because I'm not responsible to do those things for you. I do them because I love you. I do them because, I care about your well being. But just like us having to take responsibility for our own actions of not saying no or saying no and dealing with all that you have to, build up inside of you that's not what you want, she also has to realize that that's on her. That's her responsibility that, she doesn't have a ride now. That's on her because of her choices, just like our choices not saying no. So, like, it's easy to get upset at Sid for, rattling the door, but, what are some other things that you can do because he's just a cat? Like you said, you feel bad. And it's like, not to say you're wrong or anything, because, like, you're doing all that you do for the others you care about because you love them and you care about them, but you're also doing it in a sense of need for yourself, like you were getting at earlier, where like you do these things out of control for yourself, trying to control your situation and the scenario and the outcome, but it really doesn't help you, and it just enables them, and it ends up just this spiral because you get stuck in the loop that you're like, I wish Sid would stop doing this, but you may have to do an extra step beforehand, say put him in his bed in the bedroom and close him in there just until you get ready for him to come out again, or let him out in the yard so he can roam because he's going to do his own thing out there or whatever, and that way he's not exposed in a sense that he's able to rattle up things and get in your way and frustrate you when you're trying to have your time because you don't take that time for yourself. And then the one time you decide you have the moment to do it, then it's the cat. And then it's, somebody, a phone call, somebody for work, whatever it may be. It's just, I think that it's not to say and blame yourself, but I think that just recognizing that you do have more control in a healthier way than you realize, and it just may take something a little more difficult but better in the long run. Like, to me, for example, if I hate to keep using mama as an example because I know that, like, mama, yeah, I don't want her to be upset and
Mama's a
feel
good
bad.
learning experience.
She she is, and that's meant with love. That's
It's a
meant with
motherly
love.
job teaching
Yeah,
children.
because when I when I told her that, like, I've told her, I love you, and if I didn't, I wouldn't do the things that I do for you, but I still have to love myself too. So, if mama's not gonna show her love to me in a better way, I'm gonna have to do it for myself, right? I'm sorry to say it, but that's the truth of the matter. And it's just, I don't even know where I was going with it. I was gonna make a point, but
I have
you
a
know,
thought, but I don't know. I mean, unless you weren't done, like I'll let you think if
oh,
you
you're
want.
good. Go ahead. I lost it
I
anyway.
don't know. I guess like I'm just kind of the phrase that's kind of like going in my head is like self neglect, and I'm kind of
Yes.
like wondering if like there's a link between like feeling like us feeling neglected as kids to where we've almost like developed this weird habit of like pleasing other people. It's like it's a weird like I don't know. I might be like nuts in my head, but like
No, don't say
it's like
that. You're
bear
not.
with me. It's like this thing where like we're trying to receive what we feel like we're lacking as far as like the love and acceptance, but we're going about it in like a self-abandonment type way because we're like
Mhm.
trying to fill like the needs of others to like fill ourselves, but like ignoring ourselves is never gonna like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not gonna work.
Yes.
It's like this
That
weird
doesn't
backwards
sound
thing.
crazy,
I
okay?
don't know. I don't know if that
Reassurance here.
translated.
It makes sense. That makes perfect sense because the only love that you're used to is a twisted kind of love, and if that's all you've ever known how to get it, that's how you're going to get it. Like, ooh, that makes great sense. So, like, for me, and I'll use mama in this scenario. For me, mama, I love you, but I'm just saying, like, for me personally, with mama and spending money, we know that that's an issue, and it always has been. the way that I strive for love with Mama is I take her shopping because I know she loves to shop. You know, I do stuff like I'll pay for her to go out to eat with us because, you know, we all enjoy eating. It's good. Food is good. So, you know, it's nice to go out, new ambiance. You know, you don't have to cook, you don't have to clean. You just enjoy the meal together. And that's a nice time. But Mama doesn't ever have her own money, right? So if Mama comes to visit me, I try to make sure I have money to feed her. I try to make sure I have money to go and shop a little bit and, you know, just spend a little extra and then still have a little bit for me. And it is hard because I struggle if I don't have that money, but I still want to see my mom. You know, she comes over and we just end up sitting on the couch like, you know, and it's like she doesn't really seem happy. She doesn't have fun. And then in my mind, I compare y'all's visits. Like she'll tell me, y'all baked a cake and y'all did this. And I'm like, why isn't Mama like that with me? But it's kind of my fault because I have nurtured that shopping side of the love that she has. She doesn't, you know, I mean, obviously we love to go shop together because I love shopping like she does, but it doesn't feel as personal as, you know, us sitting down and making a little cake together and eating that and just talking over. And we do stuff like that, but it's definitely not been the scenario for years. You know, when before I moved, it wasn't, you know, that wasn't how it was. It was like she just, we'd be around and it'd just be boring, or she just seemed very unamused. So I think back to the whole point is that I nurture that side of the love that I've always known from her, and that's through shopping, that's through money.
Yeah.
But as a person, I don't feel like Mama likes me. You know, it's like, you know, we always butted heads, and you know, we still can from time to time, and you know, it diminishes the love I feel. But the only way I knew how to get love was to buy her stuff, to take her out, to do fun things that I know she likes. Just like Daddy, he liked doing the yard work stuff. He liked working on vehicles. He liked doing fishing. He liked all that stuff. So what did I do? I did what he liked.
So now I'm wondering, like, are there examples of like where that's not the case, like where stuff just flows and you don't feel like you're like performing in any way, or not saying you don't care when you kind of get
Yeah.
in those loops, but like where you don't feel like you have to like suit your form of love to a certain like image or something. Is that making sense?
Yes. I think you need to quit second guessing yourself. You're doing great. You always make such great points that I don't ever even think of, but I'm always yapping about something. So for me, that I feel like, I mean, in relationship situations, like with your significant other, I think that I have been in positions where I'm able to just be me and not kind of, you know, perform in a sense. But there's always a side of it where I am giving more, I feel like, of, you know, doing what they want to do more than what I want to do because they don't like what I want to do. And I hate for somebody to be uncomfortable or miserable or bored doing what I like because it makes me uncomfortable. So I just rather do what I like alone. But I think one of the main people that I don't feel that kind of performative love with is you. And I'm not just
I
saying
swear I
that.
wasn't like fishing or nothing.
I know, and I'm not just trying to mooch to you. I'm not sucking up. But I genuinely, you know, but that's just our dynamic. I feel like has always been close, and you know, we always were able to work through things if we had issues, and they didn't last long, and we just understand each other. And you know, I mean, it's like the lady said that did our tarot reading last time. I mean, I think that she's right when she says that we're like soulmates in a sense, and not in a romantic way, you know, obviously, but like I think we have a soul tie even in a spiritual realm that it just, I don't know, like aside from like my kid, you're on a level of like, what's that word called? where you love an unconditional love. The word wasn't coming to me, but like you're on a level of unconditional love, like with my kid, where you would just do anything and no questions asked for that person. Like you and Skylar are on those levels, and like you're one of them, but I don't have many. Not really.
I wonder, like, I just wonder what makes that happen because I know, like, I mean, I don't have many like friends. I'm not. Are we frozen? Okay, sorry, it like froze.
You're
But like,
not.
I don't have many like friends, and I never really have. But like recently, like, I have like a couple online friends, and like, I don't know. It's just like we send voice memos and stuff, and it's like it just feels natural. And it's like
Yeah.
I've been like, like my old job and stuff, how like it's like I met a lot of new people and I felt like I had friends, and then like it all just kind of crumbled. And I'm not saying that it was like totally those people, like, because I know I was involved, but I feel like with certain
Yeah.
people, like stuff just kind of like you just know it like fits, you know? So I just
Yeah.
wonder. I don't really have like anything to add. I'm just like curious as
Yeah.
to why like certain people don't like activate like our little
Yeah.
childhood
Well,
patterns and stuff.
see, I definitely, I definitely know what you're talking about when things just come easy and you don't feel that mask coming
Yeah.
over your face.
Uh-huh.
But maybe it's, I don't know, because I don't want to say it's just a me thing. I know there's more people out there that probably have that issue or do that, but it's like if I find somebody who is on the same, like, I guess I'll just say level as me, where they like the same things, the conversation flows and it just seems easy and natural, and like we mesh well, and that's just, it works. You
Yeah.
would think that that would go somewhere and become friends in a sense and everything, but I've had that happen, but it just dies. It doesn't last. It's almost like, I mean, my inner dialogue has always just been, oh, well, they just don't like me. I don't know what I did, but something about me they just don't like. So they don't talk to me or they don't keep up with me. But I'm also guilty of not reaching out. I'm not, if you look at it from their perspective, I'm not a good friend
Oh.
because I don't reach out. I don't message first. I don't try to, put myself out there, but it's because I have trust issues. And in the past, when I did try, it got shut down or it wasn't met with what I felt it should have been. And so I've just gotten to a point in adulthood where I just gave up trying. And if someone does like talking to me, they can message me if they want to, and I'll always answer. But I'm not going to put myself out there more and more because I keep getting hurt and feeling like I'm just downing myself because of their reaction and response to me. So
Yeah.
I've had it, but it doesn't last. And I've had one childhood friend my whole life, and since moving and things of whatever of life happen, it's just been like we've drifted and we don't see each other a lot. And I don't want to say too much on this because it's a personal friendship, but you know that one kind of feels different just because it was formed in middle school and it's
Mm-hmm.
just kind of come natural because, but I won't sit here and say that there's not things about the relationship that don't still throw both of us off at points. But,
Yeah.
you know, ultimately, I just think that, setting boundaries is good. And as far as like our friendship goes, like even that takes kind of a challenge at times because you don't want to say no. But I just always have like this mask that I end up putting on because I don't feel comfortable, probably with myself. So I end up judging them based on myself and my judgment of myself, and then it just doesn't go anywhere. But ultimately, I think that I'm going to have to close this out in a minute. So if you want to do your cards, because I got like 7% left, and I don't want to get
Right.
cut off because I don't know what that'll do to the recording for you. I don't know if it'll
Okay.
erase it or whatever, but if you want to pull a card for closing out our
Indeed.
session.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try not to shuffle for 40 years like I normally do.
It's
I'm
fine.
gonna,
You got a good
I'm
flow
gonna
of
go ahead.
energy.
I'm gonna go ahead and like shuffle two decks and pull one of each just because.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, so pleasure. I was about to put that like that was the camera, but that's the mic. I don't know. I can't see it, but anyway,
Yeah, I
says
can't read it.
it wouldn't focus. But it says a beautiful peach pink waterfall of sparkling energy is cascading down your body, filling up every cell with the juicy, pleasurable sensation of abundance. Drink it all in and feel the aliveness deliciously coursing through the vessel of your body. Pleasure is and will always be your sacred birthright. Release the old narratives that pleasure must be earned, deserved, or delayed. Receiving pleasure is a sacred celebration of the sweetness that life has to offer. What can you do to receive pleasure right now? I feel like that was painful to read just because of like, I guess you can see how much I need pleasure because of my aversion to it. But, yeah. I mean, I feel like that kind of ties into what we were saying about putting other people's needs first and like neglecting ourselves. And the other
Definitely
one,
resonate.
what percent are you at?
You're good. You're good.
Okay, you were like,
It's holding that 7-8%.
okay. And then we got a time to rest a while.
Oh,
And then
that's
see,
so
well,
cute.
I hadn't found it yet, but give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
19. Okay. The whole world is sleeping, and this is when some of your most sacred work is done. In dreams, in the cocoon you create as you separate from the exterior and enter deeply into the divine universe that dwells within you. Enough time has been spent out there. Now it is time to restore and regenerate, to recreate and reweave the inner world, that sanctuary, the memory palace and beautiful grove where all true healing takes place. While the world of nature is arresting, what? While the world of nature is arresting, you too must return to the deep for this phase of the cycle of life. Soon you will return renewed, re energized, and transformed. Till then, slumber and dream, sweet child of the blessed planet. I feel like that goes too with just like taking time to ourselves and like not overdoing it.
Yep. And see, I just want to say this too. I definitely think that one really goes for you because you've had a lot of time working, you've been overdoing it a lot, and then trying to manage work plus making room for the people you care about on the outside of work. And then it's like, I know you definitely want to give what you can to the others you care about, but at the same time, it's like kind of takes me back to what we were saying earlier, where if you don't, take care of yourself, you can't take as good a care of others. And
Mm-hmm.
that really makes a lot of sense. But in the resting and in the time for yourself, I think that really helps to give you time, time to process things and kind of realizing things that you need, and just kind of seeing where your comfort comes from. Like, if
Mm-hmm.
you really feel your best laying in bed in the morning, like me, mine is I get up and do whatever, if I got to take kids to school, I do the kids to school thing. And then I come home, I make my breakfast every morning. I make exactly what I like, the way I like it, the way I want it. I sit my butt in my bed. I know some people don't eat in bed, but I do. I sit in my bed. If I feel like being in the living room, I will. But I sit in my bed. I enjoy my meal while I watch something on TV, Netflix, YouTube, whatever that is that day that I feel like. Because I choose, even down to what I watch. If I feel like I just want to listen to a podcast on YouTube, I pull up YouTube and I listen to that. Or if I want to watch Netflix and get into a show and just binge all day, I'll do that. I mean, now not everybody has that luxury because my scenario right now is different than most people's, but even just down to those little things, at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
we get showers, whatever, get everybody settled. I lay down, put on a good show that me and boyfriend like to watch or whatever, and I color. I put on a little lamp and I color in my coloring book.
Yeah.
And that just kind of helps me ease my mind and wind down for the day. It puts me in a state of just, contentment. So, I mean, I think even just having that time to take for yourself gives you a perspective on what you need and what you really care about doing when it's just for you. And honestly, if you do have some things going on in life that are difficult, it still gives you time to process and think them over and see how you can handle them differently just by taking one little step. Sometimes the littlest things can tip the scale. I mean, think about the scale being there and you just have this one little grain of salt, it can tip it, and you never know what that might be for you. But I think that's a good thing to look into, choosing yourself first. Even in those little moments, they make things go a long way.
Yeah. I guess like real quick for me, I was just thinking like how hard it can be sometimes, like when the scale is like so tipped like against you,
Yeah.
like to actually know how to rest. Because I feel like that's something where like I have to. It sounds so dumb, but it's like sometimes you just don't know how to like just not do stuff. Like because I'm just like with my YouTube
Yeah.
thing on the side, and like it's like I'll get home and I'm like I gotta work on this because this is what I really care about. So like it's just hard sometimes to just like I'm trying with my break like off work to just like okay, I don't have to like be working 24/7 like I'm used to. I can actually take this time to like recover and just like chill sometimes.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's a good step. That's a good first step, that you recognize that and you figured out that I can slow down. I'm not on this time crunch that I think that I am, because you do have a lot you want to get done.
Mm-hmm.
But think about the scale. It's tipped the wrong way, so we'll go this way. It's tipped the wrong way. It's going to take you a lot more
Mm-hmm.
good rest, all those things, to tip it back the right way. So
Yeah.
think about how far you get down here. You got to get it back at least level, balanced,
I need
or at
some
least a little
salt.
bit more. I know.
Let's
but
go get
but I
some
think
some
that's,
salty noodles and eat some more of those from last night.
listen, you had them noodles last night. I went
Oh,
and made me
oh,
noodles too, but I didn't make mine.
I will. They were good, but they were just so spicy.
Listen, you talking about noodles though made me want noodles, and I had to
Oh,
make me
I
some
know they're
too.
just like a comfort. Like I know they're bad, but like
Wholesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know. But just thinking about that, like think about how much more you need to get back
Yeah.
balance when you
Mhm.
do so much on this end of the scale. So I think that's something to be thoughtful of too, is that, mindful of that. You got
Yeah.
to get your salt scale back,
Check your
and the
sodium
noodles
levels.
ain't doing it.
Yeah. I guess like a good closing, like basically what you're saying is like just I don't know, I would say have like patience with yourself because like I know how easy it is for me to just like want to just be like, oh, I don't care, like it's just always gonna be like this, and this is why I don't do anything. It's like so easy to just revert back and like nothing's
Yeah.
ever gonna change. So I don't know.
Well, I
For what
see.
it's
I think
worth,
I think that's what gets you back in the loop, though.
it
It
does.
keeps
That's
you
what I'm
held back.
saying. Like, if at all
Yeah,
possible, people like, if there's anything to take away, it's just like try to have self compassion and like
definitely.
be more patient with the process because since it is so like it can be so out of balance that it feels like it feels
Yeah.
impossible. But freaking me, like with my all or nothing thinking, like it's just kind of like got to learn to pace it, you
Yeah.
know.
See, you'll get it done in the time it should be done, and you'll probably enjoy it a lot more without all that pressure, and just pacing yourself. I
Mm-hmm.
think, it it would help you. You make your own schedule, like in
Yeah.
this scenario where you're not at work, because you
Mm-hmm.
can't do that. Obviously you have to do what the boss tells you. Well, in your life overall, you're the boss, and
Yeah.
you know you I know you, and I know how much you put into things when you really care. So
Mm-hmm.
you're already, even on the good end, you're already doing so much that you're almost making it harder for yourself because you're like, I care so much. Yeah, but I think you just got to get back to you doing what you love because you love it first, and then share it as a caring for the rest of us. And I think that that'll shine through the best. And maybe that's where your struggles are coming from too. I'm eating up this 7% as long as
Oh,
it's
it's
there.
fine. It told me like we only had 10 minutes, like 10 minutes ago.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay, good, good.
we
All right, I'm
might
gonna
get cut
sum this.
off.
Okay, so I'm gonna sum it up. But I just think that, with you doing all the projects that you do, that might be holding you back because you put so much into it and you overwhelm yourself. But
Yeah, like
I
stalled.
know I'm not like, I'm not like trying to sit here and do the therapy session for
Oh no,
you. I
it's
just,
fine. We both
it's in me
shared
to
like
want to help you feel better.
vulnerable things. Stop repeating that pattern.
That's what I'm saying. Like, don't do it. Don't do it.
Stop enabling me to self-neglect. Okay. Well,
All
I guess
right.
before we get like cut off, I guess is a good time to stop. But I enjoyed this talk.